Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a 48-hour reading vlog for the Summer of Romantasyathon hosted by Tori Between Pages. Full transparency, this is not the weekend that they set aside in June for the first readathon, and it is not yet the one in July, but my weekends have been filled with activities. So I have delayed my 48 hours a bit so that I can actually participate, but there are reading sprints that they had, which I have saved and will be watching on the replay in my own time. And I'll be reading as much as I can in a 48-hour period. And I have 4 books I would love to get to. So if you're interested in seeing how many Romantasy books I can read this weekend, then just keep on watching. There are 2 main books that I really want to get to. The first is my buddy read with my bookish bestie Sam. We read 5 chapters a day and we are a good chunk of the way through Order of Scorpions by Ivy Asher. This is over 700 pages. It is a standalone fantasy romance, which is very interesting and is a spot on the bingo board for Romantasyathon. This is a dark fantasy romance. It is Why Choose. Our main character, Osset, is a trained assassin. She was put in a very brutal, training school sort of thing. They are called Blade Slaves, and she has no memories of where she came from. Then there is a bidding, which is like a competition. There are trials, and during that time the orders bid on the blade slaves that they want to bring in, and so Osset goes with the Order of Scorpions, and it does turn into a Why Choose romance. The beginning of this book, it was 4.5 stars. It was dark, it was scary, it was fast-paced, gruesome in some parts, and I was loving it. Now not so much. So I am hoping to finish this weekend, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. And then secondly is Beneath Black Sails by Claire Sager. This was the June Who Did This To You book club pick, which is hosted by Tori Between Pages and is a spot on the bingo board. And I started it but was not able to finish it, so that is a priority for this weekend as well. This is a pirate fantasy romance between a pirate and a pirate hunter. Our female main character is the pirate, which has been really fun so far, and she definitely has a love for ships, and pirates are obviously criminals, so they get into some shenanigans as well. I'm not very far into that so far, so I don't have too many thoughts besides I'm having a lot of fun with the chapters I've read so far. So that is also on the docket for this weekend. And then I think I wanted maybe 2 other options. I'm going to pull up the Summer of Romantasy bingo board and the progress I've made, so I'm going to pop that up to the side and see. You know what I would love? I would absolutely love to get a bingo this weekend. I don't know if that's gonna happen, so if I do the Who Did This To You book club June pick, I will have 3 left to go across the top. Order of Scorpions counts for standalone, which doesn't really get me closer to anything. So really, I'm gonna have to do 3, no matter what way I look at things, in order to get a bingo. Can I do that this weekend? I'm not sure. I really don't think I can read 5 books in a weekend, unless they're all very short, which a lot of the fantasy romance I want to read are not super short. So I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't know, there's just so many options. I know for a fact I am not going to be able to complete this by the end of July, which was my original intention. I just have not been reading enough fantasy romance. I have found that I really can't binge only fantasy romance back to back to back. I tend to read a fantasy romance, read a different genre, and that's how I've been going along, which means I'm filling out this bingo board a little slower than I wanted to. So I'm going to keep this going until I fill out the board because I want to do all of the tropes. Okay, I'm getting too far into this. Step 1, Order of Scorpions. Step 2, Beneath Black Sails. And then we'll figure out where we're going from there.
So I logged in and started her stream for her. Proof that I'm not just hacking the system. Yeah, my computer is just... I'll be there soon, I promise.
All right, we finally got home from our impromptu camping trip, which I think I included a couple little clips, and I'm now ready to officially get going on this 48-hour readathon. So I did go back and grab the reading sprints that they kicked off with on Aaron from Booked and Busy's channel. So I'm listening to that while I paused it to update you guys. They have a Zelda ambiance started, which is going to be fun. And Steph from Steph Bookish and Tori, of course, the host of the readathon, Tori Between Pages, is there as well. So I'm sure it's going to be a fun time. I am 91% of the way through Order of Scorpions, so it really should not take me that long to finish up this book. I have like 75-ish pages left. I know I already said kind of in my introduction that I'm just not really liking this book anymore. It went downhill quite swiftly. When I'm officially done, I will give you a full review and my rating. But knowing that I'm just kind of getting going on this 48-hour readathon, because I only read for a very short amount of time while we were camping. We had lots of biking and things to do with the kids. So I'm going to read a bunch this evening, all day tomorrow, and then a little bit one additional day to get 48 hours of reading in. And I'm feeling pretty confident that I can finish at least 3 books. I would love to read 3 books in this 48-hour readathon. Anything above that, I am very pleased with. I'm thinking that we're not going to get bingo, but that's okay. I do want to fill in at least 3 more spots on the board in the next 48 hours. So we'll see how we get on. I will update you again when I have finished Order of Scorpions. Hello, good morning. I have not had my coffee yet. Feeling rough, feeling tired, but I did finish Order of Scorpions last night. The children are already arguing. Yay, summer vacation. I finished this, it was like well after midnight in bed. I was not going to update you then, so I'm waiting until now. I ended up giving this a low 3 stars, maybe like a 2.75 if you're being picky, but I gave it a 3 on Goodreads. I will now give you like a more broad like synopsis and my review. So we are following Osset, who has no memories from before she was kidnapped and brought to the Lauder, I don't know how to pronounce that, where she is trained to be a blade slave, which is like an assassin. And she is trained for 6+ years, and then there is this competition where she's competing against the other blade slaves for places in one of the orders. There's multiple orders, and they bid on the blade slaves they want to bring in. And the orders are like, you know, little houses of assassins that people hire. But Osset having no memories, the main plot line of this book is, who is she? Where does she come from? She has some suspicious abilities. Why can she seem to know things that she has no memory of or context for? So the point of this book is to find out who she is, where she comes from, all of that. This is very dark, fast-paced. For the first like 35%, it was gruesome. There were some really gross, gory scenes. There was some triggering things happening. Definitely a dark fantasy romance. And then I don't feel like it was that after the 35% mark. And I don't know what that says about me, that I was definitely enjoying it more in the beginning. And then it just became so meandering, and this book is over 700 pages, and it really lost me in that middle like 400 or 500 pages, which is significant. It felt like a slog. Our characters, because it's multiple perspectives, are like, their inner monologue is like rehashing, like almost like an anxious rehashing of the same thoughts but in different sentence structures, and it leaves like no room for nuance. And also, you don't need to write 5 sentences meaning the same thing, even if, like, okay, in real life you might think like that, in that like cyclical spiral whatever, but reading it was so annoying because it happened a lot with a lot of our characters, and I really did not enjoy that. And then each of the plot twists, it felt like, did you watch Jackie Chan Adventures when you were a kid, like the animation? And Uncle Chan says, and one more thing. That's what I felt like the author was doing. And then at the 90% mark, the plot twists and reveal grabbed me again. But at 90% in a 700+ page standalone, it's way too late. I wish that we got that plot twist 400 pages sooner, and we could have really explored that plot line even more. But then it's the end of the book. It was just so strange. So it felt like it was like 4 stars. We went downhill swiftly for the majority of this book to like a 2-star, and then it caught me a little bit at just the very tail end. So on Goodreads I put 3. Like I said, it's probably more of like a 2.75. For being such a highly trained badass assassin, Osset makes some really impulsive, stupid decisions through here that I just feel like didn't make sense with how she was set up to be in the beginning. But anyways, that's enough semi-ranting about this book. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. And I put that in for standalone on the Summer of Romantasyathon, and I also put it in Covers with Cassidy's Every Romantasy Challenge as the 2+ love interests. And we'll talk about that in another video because I'm doing kind of 2 Romantasy challenges this summer. Next up, we are going to read Beneath Black Sails by Claire Sager. This is the Who Did This To You book club pick for June, which I am late in reading, but it is a spot on the bingo board, and this really intrigues me. So I definitely wanted to read it, even though I am behind and missed out on the chat in Fable. This is a pirate romantasy, which I'm excited for. We're following a pirate, which is our female main character, and a pirate hunter. And so far, all I know based on what others have said is that it is very like nautical piratey, talking about the ships, etc., which I can like a nautical fantasy. I really like some of the fantasy books set at sea, so I do have high hopes for this. I will check in once I have some thoughts, feelings, and a better synopsis, just aside from those very broad tropes. I also wanted to mention I've still not done rewatching the full live stream from Erin's channel, but I was just smiling and laughing so much during the like chatty portions. It was chaotic, it was funny. I am so sad that I was away camping with no service when this actual readathon happened, and I would just really want to prioritize actually participating in these reading sprints live from time to time, because they really are so much fun. It feels like you're reading with friends. The sprints were 45 minutes, which you can get a good chunk of reading done in 45 minutes. So I am going to finish watching those this morning, and then I will head over to Raven-Haired Readers channel. I believe she had the second set of sprints, so I still kind of feel like I'm participating in the 48-hour readathon, even though it is later on, and really liking it so far and seeing what everyone else was reading a couple weeks ago when the readathon was going on, and getting some ideas on books that I can read as well. Hey guys, I was able to get ready for the day, and I did finish out the sprints on Erin's channel. Why am I always green in this room? Sorry. But I made really good progress on Beneath Black Sails. It is not quite 2 p.m. today, and I am 19%, which is 76 out of 376 pages of this book. So I do need to read a little bit faster, but I'm having a great time. So in this book, we are following Vice, who is our pirate female main character, and she is very tricky and she has some very interesting magic. The reason she is a pirate, she escaped, I forget what her previous life was. She escaped, changed her name, but she has this like magic where she is like one with the ocean. The ocean is in control for the most part, but she feels like a part of the ocean. She can like move the ships forward faster, control the currents, things like that. So it makes her a very good pirate because she can control the currents of her ship and other ships. So she sees a ship out in open water that she wants to like take down, plunder, whatever, you know, piratey things. She can like slow them down significantly, or even draw them to a halt while her ship is like speeding towards them. It also means that she's very hard to catch for our pirate hunter, who is Nye. Is that how you pronounce it? Sometimes it's hard with fantasy books because I'm not listening to the audio for this one, so I'm not sure if I am pronouncing their names right. But anyways, Nye has been trying to get a hold of Vice, but every time that he has her in his sights, she can get away very quickly or slow down his ship or what have you. So far, I'm assuming, because I was told, I guess, so it's not really my assumption, that this is a pirate hunter romance, but we're 19% in, and they haven't had many bantery sort of encounters. What is this hair doing? It is so humid. That's why my hair has been up so much, because it's as big as a lion's mane. I'm always so distracted. Oh my gosh. He is just chasing her down, and they haven't had a lot of like cute bantery kind of moments. They're just straight up enemies that haven't had a lot of one-on-one interaction so far in the story. So I'm interested to see how that is going to come around. They did have one interaction in which Vice was able to disguise herself, and that was really entertaining, in like how she had to give him the slip and she ran away. And I just find myself smiling and having fun with this novel. I do agree. Now that I'm like almost 20% through, Tori said in the live reading sprints, she's like, it's very piratey. And I totally see that. It's a lot of like ship terminology and slang, and the pirates are pirating. You know what I mean? I think I'm going to make myself a coffee and then head over and find the reading sprints that were hosted on Rachel's channel, Raven Haired Reader, because those were the like day 2 mid-afternoon sprints, and that's kind of where I am in my timeline. I would love to finish this book today and then start a third book. We will see. I'm trying my best. Hey guys, it is getting quite late now. I did not get to read as much today as I wanted to. My makeup is sweating off my face. It has been so hot here, and I did go for a walk earlier because I felt like I needed to move my body, but I did not want to do like a full sweaty workout, if that makes sense. I did just finish the reading sprints that were on Raven Haired Reader's channel. One thing I do like about watching the replay is being able to like pause the reading sprint so I can get a full 40-45 minutes of reading done with them each time, even if it takes me like sitting down twice because the kids are bothering me or what have you. But I am now 38% of the way through. I read 150 pages of Beneath Black Sails, and I'm having such a fun time. After my update last time, pretty much like the next chapter, I think I filmed clips of me reading it. That is where our female main character and male main character started to have some interactions, and they're in each other's lives right now, even though they may not want to be, and I'm having so much fun. There's tension, but not like sexual tension so much as like, I don't know how to describe it, like workplace tension. You know when you have like a coworker that you don't really like? I don't know. I'm having a really great time. It's not giving me 5-star feels or anything like that, but I am really sad I didn't read this in June so that I could talk with the others in the book club about it. So I'm going to have to prioritize July's read in July. And I think Tori has reading sprints on her channel from back when they did the 48-hour readathon. So I'll be watching the replay of that tomorrow as well. I think I have decided on the route I want to go for the third book I want to read in this vlog, but we will talk about that after I finish this one. finish Beneath Black Sails by Claire Sager at the lake earlier today. So this is like the final day of this readathon. I am going to put on Tori's reading sprints that she had for the final day back when they did this 48-hour readathon while I read my next book. But I gave this 4 stars. I thought this was a great mix of adventure, fantasy, and some romance. I just found myself really enjoying this book. There's nothing that I can pinpoint as like being my favorite or something that I didn't like, but 4 stars. It was fun. I will be continuing the series. I liked the pirates and it being set at sea and on ships. It just set it apart from a lot of the other romantasies that I have been reading as of late, and I feel like that's something that I've needed. While I've absolutely loved doing the Summer of Romantasyathon, reading the same genre again and again, it can start feeling a little bit stale. I personally like to kind of switch up my genres a little bit, and so while this was still romantasy, having a completely different vibe and setting was really great for me. So definitely recommend this, and this was the Who Did This To You book club pick for June, so that checks off the first square. And now I have decided what I'm going to be picking up today. I'm going to finally pick up Powerless by Lauren Roberts. It's just Steph has this on her July TBR, and while I do not, I do own it and I've been wanting to get to it, so we are going to buddy read this together. And in this graphic, I have completed prompts 1 and 2, and 3 is a book everyone's talking about, and the second book in the series was just released, so I feel like everyone has been either rereading this book or reading it for the first time and then immediately picking up the sequel. So I've seen this all over TikTok, all over Instagram. I've seen it everywhere. Everyone's talking about this book, and I want to figure out if I'm going to love it too. I've seen some mixed reviews. I know this is heavily compared to The Hunger Games, but I'm really looking forward to this. So this is a YA romantasy with some trials, and I will be buddy reading this, as I said, with Steph. So I am not going to be finishing this in this 48-hour readathon, but I am going to read this while watching Tori's closing out the readathon sprints, since I did get a bunch of reading done at the lake. And overall, I feel like that will be successful enough for me as a busy mom of 3. I cannot sit down and read the entire weekend through as much as I wish that I could. I really didn't get that much reading done at the lake because the kids were swimming and running around, and obviously I needed to watch them as well, but we'll read for a couple of hours before closing out this video, and we'll see how far I can get. This book is 500 pages. I would love to read 100-ish, and then we'll see if we have any time left, but I'm kind of feeling like we probably won't. I just finished watching Tori's closing sprints for the 48-hour readathon, so I'm gonna call that good. I was reading Powerless. I didn't quite read as much as I wanted. I did read 10 chapters and I'm now on, my hair is crazy, on page 80. So I read 80 pages, not the 100 I was hoping for, but that's okay. I will obviously continue reading this. But overall, this weekend I did finish 2 fantasy romance books and started the next. I did not get bingo on the board, but that's okay. I'm really happy with the picks I did choose and get through, and I really enjoyed the 2 books I finished, and I'm already having a great time with my buddy read for Powerless, so I'm going to call that a success. I'm also going to keep going with the Summer of Romantasy bingo board until I finish all the spaces. There's no way I will be able to do that by the end of July. I knew that going into this readathon, but I am really committed to reading through all of the prompts, so you'll continue to see Romantasy themed content on this channel. So if you did enjoy this 48-hour readathon reading vlog, then definitely let me know by giving this a thumbs up, and let me know if you want to see me do this again. I will see you in my next video. Bye!